We're working Deja for the first time in Charleston, South Carolina. She just made a very, very long 3-day drive from the West Coast, and this is only my second time working her in downtown Charleston. In this particular case, we have a semi-blind trail, fairly large scent article being a hairbrush in a bottle, and Deja is attempting to pick up the trail. I think it's really important for the viewer to take a look at how the dog's working this particular start. You notice that she's circled around several times. She seems to pick up odor, frantically starts working again, but there's no clear direction of travel except for perhaps here, and then she goes back to the area of the bottle. The key to this particular work here is that she's not committed to anything in general. Yes, she's in odor. Yes, she's working, but she does not have a clear direction of travel, and she does not have clear body language indicating that she's on a good scent trail. The only thing I see is that she's working odor and she's in scent. You can see she's working the fringe and the edge of things. That was a little line check on my part, but she's moving pretty quick. Keeps going back to the bottle and to the beginning of the trail. Part of the reason why this is happening is it's difficult to see, but we have an extremely strong wind that was coming directly towards us or towards the bottle from behind me at this point. You can see my shirt moving. The trail layer and I had sat and discussed the trail for some time right around where the scent article was. We created a fairly large scent pool, plus the hairbrush is blowing quite a bit of odor. I think what's happening here in this situation is Deja is working a lot of the ambient odor that seems to be laying around in the area. The actual trail is a little bit difficult to pick up at this point. Patience is a virtue here. Very, very important to take your time. Don't get overly excited. Don't get distressed with the dog. Let the dog do its thing. As long as the dog is actively showing you that it's working, as long as the dog actively shows you that it has an interest in odor, as long as the dog does not get distracted and does not lose focus, you have to let the dog work. She has odor. She has it very well. Notice how she keeps going back to the exact same locations. This is telling you she has odor. Now things begin to change. She hits out on a good trail leaving the area, but her speed takes her right off the fringe of the trail. Once she works off the edge of the trail, she begins to try to reacquire it. She's looking for odor, and she overturns probably what's the actual track. She works all the way to the fringe, seems to maybe pick up a little bit, and begins to work her way back. Watch what happens when she starts to become very, very detailed. Again, you're going to notice she's almost on the exact same spot she's worked several times in a row. Her body language is almost identical each and every time. The problem comes when she begins to move too fast and she overshoots the trail. I think one of the key components that's necessary to examine when you're watching a dog working odor on a trail is how the dog works through other people and the odor that they're producing. Deja, when she's working here, is desperately trying to find one particular thing. She's working really, really hard trying to do it, and she's ignoring those things that are behind her. Really not even giving them a head pop, working right past them. Whatever scent pools they might be producing, she's not paying attention to. This type of work with a dog can actually be very stressful to a handler. In particular, if that handler is under observation by peers or people who have never really seen him work before. It's important that when the dog is working and actually actively working odor, that the handler allows that dog to work it out on its own time without any influence or whatever minimal influence can be. Take your time. Let the dog work. The only thing you should be doing is really reeling in and reeling out. If the dog wants to circle around here for an hour, as long as it has odor and it's actively working, I'm going to let the dog circle. This is the area, or just about the area, where Deja seems to finally pick up the exit trail with some good decision and takes it with vigor. It doesn't take very long to see that her body language has changed significantly. She's working a pattern a little bit better, a little bit more intense about what she's on, and very, very soon takes off. My job in this situation is actually pretty simple. I have to just manage that lead. Stay in one spot, reel it in, reel it out, make sure it doesn't get tangled between the legs, and don't distract the dog. Just be patient enough to allow the dog to pick up that trail and move out of the area. One of the biggest problems I see with a lot of trailing dog handlers is their impatience at the start. Many situations a dog might want to work a start just like that because of the scent patterns at the scene. You have to take in consideration when a trail's set up, especially in real cases, it's very rare that somebody just goes to a spot and walks away from it. 9 times out of 10, they've done something there, or perhaps they even live there. There's a lot of odor in that particular location, and it might take some time for a dog to find an exit trail. That's exactly what happened here in this particular case. The purpose of this video is to show you how long it might take a dog to actually work out of an area and why patience is a virtue. This is one of a couple locations where Deja overshoots the turn and backtracks to become a little bit more accurate as to the direction of travel. Notice she literally picks it up, probably footstep for footstep right here, and wants to stay right on the trail. Again, patience is very important. It's really critical that the handler allow the dog to establish the direction of travel on their own. Try not to influence. Even if you know exactly where the trail was, don't guide the dog. Let the dog make the decisions. It knows scent far better than we do. And if you just watch the body language, it'll be very easy to tell when she picks up the exact trail that she wants and follows it with relative ease. In the next section, you're going to see Deja make a really good street crossing, but I don't think she's incredibly accurate on the middle island. You're going to see she actually will veer off to the left, work the fringe of odor, and circle back. As she circles, watch for the head pop and watch for the body language change, indicating that she sees or detects something else. In this case, it's a couple walking towards us, and Deja has an interest in meeting with them. Even though she can smell them from a distance, she knows that they're the wrong thing, not matching the trail. She still wants to check. This is a young dog condition, and it's one that I actually don't really condone. If the dog can detect the odor, and you can see that they're in a position to detect that odor, I don't agree with allowing the dog just to check anybody it wants. It's looking for movement, any human that it can, in order to get some sort of satisfaction or reward. Generally speaking, if the dog can detect odor from a distraction, I like them to ignore it and stay put to the trail. In this situation, the scent becomes windblown out onto the street a little bit. You can actually see Deja has the edge of it in a couple different locations, but again, she circles back to remain accurate. Almost, I'd say, right on top of the foot tracks. I think one of the things that leads to this type of accuracy is the footwear that a person might wear that's laying your trail for you. In this case, the trail layer was wearing flip-flops and bare feet very close to the proximity where the shoe's stepping is going to imprint a lot more physical human odor in that track. I think that's why we're seeing Deja stay so close and so accurate to the actual footsteps. One of the things I just pointed at in the back was one of the tracks I saw from the flip-flops. It's important to notice that Deja is becoming a little bit more frantic at this point. She's moving a little bit faster, she's circling a little bit wider. Something's happening with scent here that's different than what was happening before, prior to the turn in the road and prior to this area. I think what's happening is she's actually detecting some proximity scent in the area, which is exciting her, making her move a little bit faster. She loses it and then heads right back to the hard part of the trail. This next section of the trail is actually very important. You're going to see her hit a sidewalk area with a small bridge that goes over a small canal. You can tell she's detecting right at that cement spot and then also on the bridge some odor, some human odor. She's giving you a really good direction to travel, but at the same time she's exhibiting some fear behavior. The fear behavior is due to the aluminum framework of the bridge that makes a noise and feels a little uncomfortable on her feet. She became nervous, and rather than following the odor, she tried to run away from it. In this situation, what I did is I motivated her across, got her off the fear, and back into odor as quick as I could. Right about here, you'll see she'll get a good head pop and detect some odor on the pavement. work it towards this fence line, obviously in very, very good odor, and she starts to head back towards the bridge. Once she gets to the area of the bridge, she actually works back to the inside portion of the building. You can watch by the body language that she's still in odor. It's a little bit far off, but she's working with good purpose. She definitely has something here, and there gets to be an ending point where it just seems to stop. At that point, she circles around, comes on back, and she starts working back towards the bridge again. Watch what happens when she gets to the bridge. In this case, Deja goes right back across the bridge without any trepidation or any fear. She does this on her own, and she does it for a reason. For whatever reason, there happens to be a lot of odor on the other side of this bridge and in this general vicinity. I have to allow her to work it. She has it. I have to allow her to have it. If I try to correct her or take her off of it, even if I know where the trail is, it's tantamount to correcting her and telling her what she's doing is incorrect. It's impossible to tell by the video is the wind and the direction and how it's shifting. In this particular case, the wind is blowing directly from my left and into the parking lot. It had been doing that all the way up to the bridge. So the predominant wind is coming from the bridge and then out into the parking lot. This part can be really frustrating for a handler. It's obvious that the dog's got odor. The dog is actually, in this case, throwing a lot of proximity alerts saying that it's fairly close, but yet still not being able to find the source. It's really, really important that the handler remains patient. Let that dog seem to work through the area. See if it can find an exact trail in, but if it can't, it has to be able to try to work the air scent problem out on its own. And that's exactly what we have happening now, is an air scent problem. Notice the dog get across the bridge and go in the exact same general location that it went on the first time through. As a matter of fact, it turns off the sidewalk in almost the exact same area it had turned off before, but just a little bit of a difference. Keep an eye on the dog. Proximity alerts can oftentimes be the last alert or the last scent that a handler has or gets to see in its dog, especially in a situation just like this. If all of a sudden the dog misses the turn, gets stuck in the scent pool, and the handler gets frustrated and pulls the dog out, you may never find the suspect.
Good job. Nice job. Nice job. Give me